We must use the power of law to punish severely the religious hypocrites and obscurantists who, in the name of God, cripple children, close for them the way to a happy, joyful life of active builders of communism. There were a lot of intellectuals in the camp, many literate, clever people, but all of them were called enemies of the people. They arrested more and more people without exception. More and more churches were closed. And there was one sentence that fitted them all: 10 years in prison, or execution by firing squad. I understood that in every team, in every factory, in every shop, there was always someone who watched and reported on you. Thousands of broken families and lives, tens of thousands of people exiled to camps, prisons, and people missing, countless unknown graves in the boundless territories of Siberia. This is just a part of the tests that befell the believers in the USSR for their faith and loyalty to God, firmness of spirit, and devotion to truth. They created a certain community of people who lived a completely different life than the rest of society. They did not obey the norms and principles of the state in raising children. They raised children in their own way. Evangelical Christians. They did not fit into the Soviet system of values with their sincere faith in God and denial of the bright communist future, for which they were mercilessly punished by the atheistic regime. They take you to the cell and the first thing you say is, according to which article were you convicted? And then they start saying, do we judge believers at all here?
For what? For faith in God. For faith in God? In our country we do not judge for that. We don't if you believe TV and books. But you see, I've been judged only for this reason.
Decades passed. New leaders have come and gone. But the godless policy of the Soviet government remained unchanged. Only the tactics of the struggle changed. Over the years, they became more sophisticated. Believers were considered outcasts, the relics of the past, the ones who break scientific progress, traitors of the motherland. This was Joseph's second term. He received an enhanced detention regime. I had my first term, 3 years of general regime. Some of the brothers received 2.5-year terms, some 2-year terms. She pounded the table. Well, now you decide, exams or God? The director of the plant calls me and says, I recommend you to resign as if it is your own decision because I don't want to deal with the KGB. They were waiting for a ship that would come from Magadan. And when the ship arrived, they were just shocked that people went out without ears, on crutches. The ship was loaded like a jar of herring, to such an extent that the hold was already closed, and such transfer took them more than 10 days. Along with cheerful and encouraging Soviet slogans, plainly extremist slogans were heard everywhere. Religion is opium for the people. Religion slows down the socialism. Stop religious obscurantism, which slows down scientific progress. These boys and girls strive for knowledge, light. And these people, where are they going? Where are they hurrying? After all, the sun shines for them too, but they run away from it. Darkness beckons them. They are sectarians, bearers of the remnants of the cursed past. My father worked in the 5th shoe factory. His portrait hung on the honor board all the time, and one day people from the regional committee came and said, "Don't you have a single communist to hang on the honor board? Why did you hang a Baptist?" The pastor of the church gets up and says, "Brothers and sisters, we were told by the authorities that children should not attend church services, and if they do, the house of prayer will be closed."
They took the children to boarding schools by force. Some mothers, they left home with their children because it was simply impossible to stay at home any longer. Children at school also had difficulties. They were bullied.
They said, "We will protect children and youth from the church, and the old believers will die by themselves." People from the opposite side attacked us like eagles. The state itself attacked us. They prohibited some particular things, tried to disperse us, to fine and frighten us. The police arrived with the local authorities, called a fire engine, and started pouring water on us. Criminal and administrative responsibility, humiliation, bullying, moral and physical violence, imprisonment, exile and murder, deprivation of parental rights, ban on higher education. This is not a complete list of repressions used against believers in the USSR, and especially against evangelical Christians. Evangelical Christians were true dissidents. They were the people who opposed this great red wheel of the Soviet system, as Solzhenitsyn called it. We have to know the truth, to expose the myths and publish what has been hushed up for years. We must know the price paid for the right to live in a free country and to believe freely, honestly and frankly, from the lips of eyewitnesses and participants of those events. Soon, a new historical film will be released about faith and God's faithfulness, courage and dedication, betrayal and devotion to God.